The National Assembly resumed plenary for one day on the 29th of October and adjourned for another week to allow its committees conclude the budget defense and present same to the appropriations committees. But before that adjournment, the House of Representatives, in an accelerated manner, considered and passed the bill for an act to amend the Deep Offshore Inland Basin Production Sharing Contract through second and third reading. Now, that bill was first passed by the Senate just before the 2 weeks break for budget defense. The National Assembly inserted a new Section 17 that allows the Minister of Petroleum Resources to cause the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to call for a review of production sharing contract every 8 years. The importance of that bill cannot be overemphasized. The lawmakers believe that the bill, which is expected to fund part of the 2020 budget, will generate about 400 billion naira for the country. Well, with that said, welcome to the Gavel. I'm Terry Ikumi. Now, one issue which generated reactions all over the country is the Nigerian Army's Operation Positive Identification. When that matter was raised in the Green Chamber, the lawmakers expressed worry that it would instill fear in innocent Nigerians. But the Army says no cause for alarm and debunked the rumor of National Identification Card as the only authentic source of identification. Let's give you the details.
Plenary on Tuesday was well attended as lawmakers resumed after a 2-week break occasioned by budget defense sessions. In the Senate, a request from President Buhari for confirmation of the appointment of 16 nominees of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC, was read by the President of the Senate.
Letter from Mr. President. Dear distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointments of the Board of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. In accordance with provision of Section 2, Subsection 2A of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC Establishment Act 2000, I write to forward for confirmation by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria the underlisted nominees for appointment into the NDDC Board to occupy the positions indicated against their names. The nominees' CVs are attached herewith. 1. Dr. Pius Odubu, Edo State, Chairman. 2. Bernard O. Okumagba, Delta, Managing Director. 3. Engineer Otobong Indem, Akwa Ibom, Executive Director, Projects. 4. Maxwell Oko Bayelsa, Executive Director, Finance and Administration. 5. Prophet Jones Eroe, Delta Rep. 6. Chief Victor Ehato, Edo Rep.
The upper chamber also received another request from President Buhari to confirm the appointment of Honorable Justice Benedict Kanyip as the President of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria and confirmation of the appointment of Honorable Justice J.T. Soho as the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court of Nigeria.
Request for confirmation of appointment of Honorable Justice J.T. Soho as the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. Pursuant to Section 250, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby write to request for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Honorable Justice J.T. Soho as the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court of Nigeria.
The Senate then adjourned plenary for another week to allow committees conclude the budget defense and defend same before the Senate Committee on Appropriation.
Welcome you back to plenary after about 2 weeks.
In the House of Representatives, before dealing with items on the order paper, some matters of urgent public importance were raised. One of them is the fire which gutted the Ochanja market in Onitsha on the 16th of October this year.
The House knows that on Wednesday, October 16, 2019, a tanker loaded with Premium Motor Spirit, PMS, fire in Onitsha and ignited fire outbreak. The House further notes that the fire outbreak started from the MCC axis of Onitsha to up Iweka and spread to Iweka Road, Ochanja Market, and the neighboring residential houses. Further informed that over 30 vehicles, 50 houses, some warehouses, and street shops. The House concerned that the fire outbreak of Opiweka or Chanja Market was rendered over 2,000 hardworking people homeless, jobless. The House further worried that if immediate and remote causes of the fire incidents are not determined, a proper measure to forestall further fire outbreak might not be guaranteed.
A minute of silence was observed for the lives lost in the inferno.
May the souls of the departed rest in peace.
Another matter of urgent public importance on the planned Operation Positive Identification exercise by the Nigerian Army was raised by the minority leader.
The House also notes that the planned Operation Positive Identification will require Nigerians to move around the country with a body pass, which is a direct infringement on the fundamental right of Nigerians as enshrined in Chapter 4, Section 41 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The House further notes that if the proposed Operation Positive Identification is allowed, it would downgrade innocent Nigerians to suspects, prisoners, and in fact, conquered persons in their own country, thereby stripping them of their constitutionally guaranteed freedom of movement and instilling fear and anxiety in the citizenry. The House further urged Mr. President, as the Commander-in-Chief, should review the situation and stop the Army from commencing the planned operation scheduled from November 1st, 2019, to make way for further consultations.
The motion gained the support of the lawmakers, who questioned whose responsibility it is to carry out such an exercise.
The question to ask them is this: do they themselves have identification? If they do, why do we have what we call a unknown soldier? Why do we have a unknown soldier? That's one. Secondly, until that time, when we are able to have an integrated system that has a database for everyone in Nigeria, there cannot be an identification that can be presented to anybody. Today we have NIMC, National Identity Card. How many people here, my colleagues, have been able to get the card, the plastic, from the paper they give you when you get there? You go there, they give you a paper, and you hold it for 4 years without the card.
When we have been inundated, under siege, by attacks by Boko Haram, and even attacks in the northwest, Nigerian armed forces are just simply trying to engage themselves in a job that they have no responsibility for. It is completely unnecessary. Our expectation is that they should be gainfully deployed to the theaters of war, to where we have challenges, not to accost Nigerians on the streets to positively identify themselves.
If our security chiefs are out of idea, they should let Nigerians know about that so that they can voluntarily give way for other people to bring in new ideas on how to fight security or insecurity in this country. Secondly, my constituents from Chibok or Goza or Damboa, traveling from Abuja to Maiduguri before they link to their various local governments, it takes them nothing less than 14 hours to reach Maiduguri. That is under normal circumstance. In the event where you ask them to identify themselves in different checkpoints before they proceed, for God's sake, how many days will it take them to move from Abuja to Maiduguri, or from Maiduguri to Chibok, or from Maiduguri to Damboa, or from Maiduguri to Goza? So this is basically not the work of the military. It's the work of the immigration services and agents of national ID cards.
The House then mandated its Committee on Army to meet with the Chief of Army Staff for a clearer understanding of the reason for the operation.
That the fire outbreak
Unlike the Senate, the House adjourned for a week to allow committees conclude their budget defense sessions.
Almighty God.
48 hours after that resolution, the House Committee on Army met with representatives of the Nigerian Army, led by the Chief of Civil Military Affairs of the Nigerian Army, Major General Usman Mohammed. He took time to address some of the wrong information on social media.
Today's military is different from the yesterday's military. The today's military is subservient to the civil rule, and you take authority also from the civil. So if it's what we have been reading on the pages of newspapers is true, then it's like likening this scenario to still dark days of the military rule, where a military man wakes up in the morning and decides what to do. So, of course, we as Parliament cannot just listen to hearsays or rely on information on the pages of newspapers. And therefore, that's why we invited you here. And we expect that you give us the right information.
The exercise or Operation Positive Identification is just part of the normal activities which the military undertakes. It's not going to be any different. You are not even going to notice any change. As I said, it's intelligence-led. It involves serious intelligence gathering. And some of the sources, it's not something I should mention here, how we receive those information. So it's not about everybody going out with his national passport, international passport, sorry, ID card, or whatever, all forms of identification that you have, no. But it helps if you have, of course, any form of identification, because immediately you are asked, you can easily identify yourself. But it's not going to be any different from the way citizens go about their normal activities. So I want to use this opportunity to reassure the House and all well-meaning Nigerians and law-abiding Nigerians as well, that you should go about your lawful activities. It's not going to involve additional troops on the road. You are not going to see any checkpoints. You are not going to see roadblocks.
According to him, the operation is to track down insurgents who may have fled from the northeast, and there is no need for innocent Nigerians to be afraid.
When we get credible information and intelligence about maybe any of these bad guys, of course, we'll conduct or we'll do what we need to do by conducting raid or cordon and search. And in the process, if we make arrests, of course, you'll be asked to identify yourself. So, it is, as I said, the major focus is because of these Boko Haram terrorists, bandits and criminals from the northeast and northwest. So we have information that, of course, they are filtering down to other parts of the country.
For anything that has to do with citizens and is going to be nationwide, I believe that is something that should be looked into critically. We should be able to identify the advantages against the disadvantages, because definitely every idea we have an advantage and we have a disadvantage. So we need to put it side by side. And we, the representative of the people, are meant to be involved in the exercise to lay down what the nitty-gritty of the whole operation, how is it going to be done. And at the same time, so that the general public, they're already aware of what to expect from the security agencies. And also, even the security agencies are aware of what is expected to do by the general public. There should be a self-explanatory media advert going on that shows when somebody is stopped, what you expect to produce, what in the case that you are not expected to produce this, what is the next thing that is going to happen.